While millions of fans will tune into the NFL kickoff game tonight, even more could be watching another set of games happening this weekend. The first big esports event of the fall, the North American League of Legends Summer Split Finals, will be taking place in Oakland with two of the region's biggest teams set to duke it out for supremacy on what fans of the game call the Rift after a busy summer of matches. This is concern surrounding Riot Games, owned by Chinese tech giant Tencent, and the publisher of League of Legends, have emerged around the company's spending on esports. For more, let's bring in Steve Arhancet. He is the owner of Team Liquid, whose team is defending their title this weekend. A very big weekend for you, Steve. Thanks for making the time for us.
Of course, Melissa. Thank you for having me.
How does the strategy change as you go into this particular tournament, being the reigning champions? I mean, how do you train differently? How is the sponsorship different? How is the scrutiny different?
Yeah, going into this event this weekend, this is a stepping stone to Worlds. So we actually ended up winning the first split of these two splits. And so we're reigning champions from the spring. And hopefully we can take this home. We'll be playing at the Oakland Arena, which is right down the street. And so, yeah, we hope to bring home a championship. And then we'll actually be playing in Korea for Worlds. And Riot shared no expense. They actually rented out a 40,000 person stadium to host the finals.
There's some concern, though, Steve, that Riot could be slashing its budget for the league. I mean, this is the most watched esports league in the world. Viewership numbers are off the charts for this one. What does it tell you if Riot is thinking about slashing its spending on the game because it's not making any money, and this is the most watched league out there? Can esports survive?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think that Riot is continuing to invest in League of Legends. I think they have, I think it was quoted, they actually spent $100 million in just production alone. I think if anything, they're becoming a little bit more thoughtful with regards to how they spend. From Team Liquid's perspective, we kind of see the ecosystem where there's substantial revenue still being earned within the space. And one of those is in sponsorships. So for sponsorships, there was a report done by Newzoo for 2018 where that market is going to be $900 million estimated for 2018. And close to home for Team Liquid, we're seeing 465% growth from 2017 to 2018. So sponsorships are healthy. And I think the next thing is media rights. And media rights have to do with the exclusive right to broadcast the league. And there's plenty of interest in the space. You've got Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, kind of all vying for these rights. I mean, Caffeine, just a couple days ago, is this new platform that just raised $185 million. So, the ecosystem for media rights is really healthy. And I think in-game items, I mean, there's just such an interest to buy these skins in-game. I think for many of the fans out there that are viewers that are familiar with Fortnite, and there's going to be a lot of kids this Christmas that are going to be asking for V-Bucks instead of typical presents,
sure.
Which is the in-game currency for Fortnite.
So you mentioned sponsorships, and I was just looking at that Newzoo report this morning about the almost $1 billion forecasted for 2018, and a big part of that was sponsorships. A much smaller part was actually the media rights to broadcast and stream some of these games. When you take a look out, in terms of what this tournament means this weekend for your team when it comes to sponsorships, what's on the line? Can you give us an idea of how important that is to make it to the Worlds in Korea and to actually have the team get there in terms of sponsorship? What does that mean for your team?
Yeah, I mean, our partners or our sponsors, they get greater visibility when we reach the pinnacle of each respective tournament or game that we participate in. So the viewership associated with going to Worlds generates more eyeballs on Team Liquid. So partners that have purchased space on our jersey or where we're producing content and pushing that through our social platforms, they're getting greater engagement if we make it further in the tournament. So for our partners, they have a real vested interest in us doing really well at Worlds. And of course, there's a lot on the line in terms of our brand equity for Team Liquid. We are consistently winning in a lot of different esports, and so we need to prove ourselves in League of Legends this year.
All right. Well, Steve, best of luck to you and Team Liquid. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Steve Arhancet.
Thank you.
The owner of Team Liquid. It's just like,
I attended the finals last year.
You're the chief esports
so I mean, especially League of
this.
Legends, man. I mean, that place, that garden was rocking. What we pointed out here is that the concurrent viewership of, I think, their mid-season tournament was almost 20 million, in terms of viewers. I mean, this is massive. And again, they're owned by Tencent. I would argue that the center of gaming is in Asia, and that Tencent and even Samsung.
China's cracking down, though.
Well, they're cracking down, although they're limiting licensing, and I think that's also had a big impact on the share price of Tencent.
Yeah.
But again, they bought Riot Games in 2015 outright. Those guys worked for Tencent. And by the way, they're some of the best in the world.
All right.
They remain so.